Hey guys, here, welcome to the GTA 5 car v car episode today of the Massacro going against 9F Cabrio. If you're wondering why I'm not comparing the normal 9Fs to the Massacro, you can check out the link in the description below to 9F against the Cabrio. See which one's better amongst those two, then come back to this video to see why I'm doing that. So anyway, you see here, alright, the Cabrio and the Massacro. This is interesting for the lap time. They both have completely different handling, alright? Obviously, the Cabrio is more tail happy than the Massacro. Oversteers quite a little bit and skids off a little bit as well, so it's harder to control than the Massacro. Anyone can use that compared to the Cabrio to do well, of course. So it's one of those things where you gotta really sort of focus with the Cabrio to do well in, you know what I mean, compared to the Massacro. So, slight little mistake, little bump a notch, you will go flying because it's such a light car. So if you go around these little sort of hills or you get some air time, you'll really struggle to control the Cabrio compared to the Massacro. Massacro is a heavy car on the stairs a little bit, so it's easy to control in a way compared to the Cabrio. But then again, both these cars will take somewhat doing to do well in generally anyway. So the Cabrio is a good car, man. It definitely is a good car. It's one of those things where you requires 100% concentration in a racing environment. You see there slight little skids and whatnot. Really, if you sort of no, I'm just kidding. If you just completely put the foot on the throttle as you're turning around corners, most likely you will oversteer a little bit. So you got to really control that and sort of learning when to let go of acceleration and when not to. One of the key things about taking corners properly in GTA with certain cars, obviously, you don't want to hit the throttle right away as you turn the corner. You want to sort of straighten it up, or sort of when you approach the straight, then hit the acceleration so you don't sort of spin out or whatnot, especially with cars that oversteer a lot, just like the 9F Cabrio. So you see here, it's going to be a really tight lap, alright? This is first time ever it's going to happen in this series where I'm going to have to give the points to both of the cars. You see here, 150.816 for the Massacro, 150.833 for the Obey 9F Cabrio. So I'm going to give the points to both the cars, man. So this is one of those things where it's very situational. Obviously I managed to get the best laps there with both of those cars after many hours of trying to get it. Turned out that was the best between both, and in a racing environment it's going to be really tight, so I don't want to favor one over another. Obviously Massacro just got slightly ahead of the 9F, but it's just milliseconds working over there, so I thought it would be fair just to give the points to both these cars instead of one, even though there's a little bit of technicalities there, but a lot of variables which will affect that, so I didn't want to go to complication with that. So anyway, best customization, we know the Massacro has that, even though the Cabrio's got somewhat of decent customization, but not to the point where it will compete against the Massacro. Top speed, it's interesting because it was like, holy shit, Cabrio, where you going, mate? Come back here. Come back here. Okay, thank you. So Massacro will overtake, eventually get the top speed. It's interesting because you'll see it will take somewhat time for the Massacro to overtake. So if this is a track and the straight is not that long, the sort of the Cabrio will dominate in the sense that obviously at the end of the highway, that's when the top speed kicks in for the Massacro. So it depends, very dependent on the track. If there's a track with a lot of corners and a bit of straights, but not the straights not being as long as this highway, then you'll pretty much dominate with the Cabrio compared to Massacro. Massacro is pretty much dominant track on longer roads. So yeah, definitely when this is it for the best acceleration. Definitely going to the Cabrio, man. As you see there, pretty much you think it's the Massacro at first, but definitely the Cabrio as it would take from 0 to 60. If we were to look at it from that point of view, definitely the Cabrio. But handling is got to go to the Massacro. If I were to sort of say to myself, all right, if I were to use either one of these, which won't be easy to handle, hands down, got to be the Massacro. Obviously, if you're a skilled driver, you would want to go with the Cabrio instead to be able to, execute corners with, in a way I say ease, because it's very responsive around corners. But then again, you have to face the consequences if you make the slightest of mistakes. So it's one of those things, not forgiving if you make mistakes. If you make mistakes around a corner with the Massacro, you can easily recover because it's heavy cars. Traction is much better than the Cabrio. So anyway, that is it, guys. Let me know in the comments below which ones your favorite amongst both of these two. Let me know in the comments below if there's any other requests you guys want me to do that I missed out. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys slap that like button, and I'll see you guys soon. Check it out. Good night, peace. Yay! I'm so I do the previous video annotation on the screen. I do that.